Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Cut the loop, cut the loop, cut the loop. Only Hulk Hogan would pass away when I'm on my trip to Puerto Rico. That motherfucker putting himself over. That's son of a. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a minute, hasn't? Coming in with a full house today. Since we weren't able to really cover what was been going on with the untimely passing of Ozzy Osbourne. No, wait, that's for another show. Forgot about that.
Rest in peace, Ozzy.
Well, ain't that something? The black guy's the first one to say something about Ozzy Osbourne. That's nice. Thanks.
Man.
For you guys who don't know, who are in the loop, we got our boy, the tribal Keith himself, kicking it with the Keith, stopping in from Shea and Sons. We got our boy Lou E. Coyote, our resident Royal Rumble aficionado, and also Lego Master Extreme, and our new guest to the show. His first time on. He's a big cuddly bear. He's adorable. But he's also known as the rugged one. Our boy, Bill Seth is in the building. What's going on, gentlemen? Yeah, it's was a shocking moment for us this week, wasn't it, Keith? How did this hit you?
A little indifferent, to be honest with you. A friend of mine sent it to me like through DM, and I was like, okay, TMZ reported it. You kind of been hearing a little rumbles that he wasn't doing well. So I was like, oh, that's big. And immediately, like probably 2 minutes passed later, and I was like, man, people are going to have a field day with this one. Because, anything Hulk Hogan related, people like to go crazy. So I kid you not, I think I kind of did the, damn, this really, really sucks. Like when I saw the SmackDown footage, it was really, actually they put a really nice footage together for him. But yeah, it's actually, it's still kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I kind of one of those guys that I thought like probably never is gonna die, to be honest with you. Not a big fan, but we all know him for what he is, but it just still kind of crazy.
The memes were at the ready. I swear it wasn't even 10 minutes that the TMZ reports came in, all the wrestling outlets hit it. It wasn't even, and already we had him already going straight to hell. Yep. We already had fucking memes of Macho Man applauding. It was just out of control when it went over the internet and stuff. Louis, being a lifelong wrestling fan as you are, Hogan passes away, and immediately your thoughts are.
I too got a message when I heard it, and I had to double take it. Like I couldn't believe the message that I got, and it was multiple messages. You just wanted to check. You want to check for yourself. It hit. It's like one of those things where you don't know what you have until it's gone from a wrestling standpoint. Because my first thought was, this was the man that got me into professional wrestling when I was a kid, and Hulk Hogan has just always been synonymous as the ultimate babyface, the hero. You want to take you want to say your prayers, you want to take your vitamins, you want to do all that stuff. And it, for me personally, it was like, whoa. It was just one of those whoa moments, just from a wrestling standpoint alone.
Yeah, I when I first saw the news, of course, having been seeing reports from a few weeks, Bubba the Love Sponge and other individuals were saying that it doesn't look good for him, that he was intubated, that he was in a, and possibly in a coma situation as such. You always like take it as a grain of salt in times, because you're like, people always say certain shit, and I'm going to kick out in 2, brother. But, you know, you never really realize until that news hits and it's like, bam. Seth, you being a old school wrestling fan, you were a fan growing up of it and stepped out in a few for a few years now. Your first remembrance of Hogan during his illustrious career early on.
Oh, listen, man. He was the first wrestler that I knew. You know, I had a Hogan Roddy Piper T-shirt, and they were like this against each other when I was like, you know what I mean, like 5 years old, 6 years old. Honestly, like Hogan was it. I think he put wrestling, entertainment wrestling, on the map. You know, you can't replace what he did. You know, there's no denying his impact on the sport. And there's levels to it, and I'm sure we're going to go into it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a loss to the industry in that way. I mean, I think that we can, you know, give him reverence for his accomplishments and what he's done for the sport and bringing people together, and you know, but yeah, man, I mean, Hulk Hogan's legacy, you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I remember for me, it's regardless of what people thought during the early days or heydays of wrestling and such like that. Once he became the face of WWF, he became the brand. It became like Coca-Cola. He became Pepsi. His face was almost on the same level as Michael Jackson or fucking Jordan when it was coming on. Everybody knew who the fuck Hogan was. All you seen was that red and yellow, and it's either McDonald's or it was Hogan. It was automatic. I wasn't a big Hogan fan growing up. I was always a heel guy coming up anyway, but I also remember, yeah, definitely. I always remember the importance that he had to the business, and for Vince to have the genius and the smarts to say, I'm going to take this dude who is in his early to mid 20s, who almost looked like he's on his 40s and fucking make him a superstar, was an accomplishment in itself for Vince to recognize that. I'll go into the whole career-wise itself, but let's throw everything out in the open already, because everybody, before I'll even not go through the acknowledgments and the achievements and stuff, I want to go into already the elephants in the room, which is what he left at the end, which was the fucking, I guess, the piss mist of lies, deceit, and such like that. Going back to Seth, you had, like I said, you've been away from wrestling for some time, but Hogan comes back into the foray for you, and you hear all these, these stories, and what became of the man who was the real American and ripping off his shirt, and you find out, there's some dark shit about him. What was your thoughts when you got when you was hearing about the real American Hogan being a racist and such?
I mean, look, man, this is the problem I have with, and I got into an argument with multiple friends of mine about this.
I love it.
And you know what I mean? No, but look, Hulk Hogan, what he contributed, everything I said earlier, I meant it. But I'm sorry, as a 60-something-year-old man, he showed who he really was. I don't wish death on anyone. He has a family. He has friends. He has fans. He has people that, I was one of them, that looked up to him and that celebrated him as a kid. He was part of my upbringing. He's one of those people that I had on my wall. I had the what's that pillow he had? The
wrestling buddy.
The wrestling buddy.
Yeah, I had that. But he told his truth when he said what he said. And I'm not gonna he was violated. It was a private conversation that he was having with a friend, a close friend, whatever. But he was honest about how he felt. And for me, just as a Black American, I'm like, yo, you told your truth. You told how you really felt about me personally, because I'm not a big Black basketball player and making a lot of money. Like, I'm not good. I'm not good enough. So for me, honestly, I could separate the person from the craft. And that aside, the racial element, I'm going to tell you, Hulk Hogan was a piece of shit before that. Before that. And other wrestlers will attest. And right now, like, I don't like talking bad about somebody that just recently passed, but I'm going to tell the truth. And if Macho Man was alive today, he would probably say the same or similar, have the similar attitude that I had. I'm sorry that he's gone. I don't wish that on anybody. But if he was alive, I'd say fuck Hulk Hogan.
Louis, was it
Fuck
surprising
Hogan.
when you first started hearing this stuff about Hogan when it was coming up?
Surprised?
Yeah.
Nah, not surprised. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little ignorant to it because to me, I remember it happening a while ago to the point where I even put up a post, and I hardly post anything, but I put up a post that said, I know that he hasn't been received well in years. I started that post by saying months. That's how ignorant I was to it, thinking that it just recently happened.
No.
So I went back and I was like, no, this happened years ago. And then I went and did some research on it because it's almost like, you know, time takes a lot of things away from you as far as moving on and thinking about other things. You're not thinking about the shit that he did or whatever. You move on to, you got your own problems, you got your own things, whatever. Going back on it, reading up on it, seeing what he reading what he said, seeing what he said, all the other stuff, the sex scandal, the all the other shit, it's like, whoa, okay, so he was, he turned a different corner. And for wrestling fans, for deep wrestling fans, like what Seth said, you want to separate the man from the character. And all I saw on social media was people putting him in the same context. The wrong orange person died today, or like
what?
Like, yeah, like
what?
He should
that
go
one.
like,
I missed that one.
It's
What?
crazy. Like it's crazy. But for me, it's like, I could separate the character from the man. The man after wrestling had trying to make a couple of comebacks, but he had some demons. He had some bad shit that happened. The only thing that I could do for me personally, and I might get some backlash for this, is I appreciate the craft. I appreciate the man. I appreciate the character more than anything, because that's what got me hooked to this business to begin with.
Keith, sorry about that. Go ahead, Louis. No, finish up, Louis.
No, and that's pretty much it. I know we're gonna get into other stuff later, but
yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Keith, you being the younger one of us all, you were the one that came in probably like the and you're a little about NWO-ish, you're WCW-ish. After that, before that,
the first wrestling match I ever saw was the Mega Powers against
right. Okay,
BBIC. That was the first wrestling match.
I'm over here thinking that you're like really young. That's a compliment to you, girl. That's right. Yeah.
Great match too, by the way. But like, Hulk Hogan and me like really is like oil and water. Mm-hmm. I can separate Terry Bollea from Hulk Hogan very well for me personally. I think Hulk Hogan as a wrestler, I mean, obviously iconic, right? In terms of what he did for the business. I mean, to deny that is just like flat out lying, honestly, in my eyes. But, yeah, the greatest heel turn ever. Yes, absolutely. But as I got older, I quickly realized I wasn't running to my TV to sit here and say, I'm going to watch Hulk Hogan, leg drop Sting. Like, it wasn't something it just never was something for me. I know he was very, one thing that I have to say that is dead with him is a true art to, you know, storytelling. And he was a big part of that. He believed in storytelling and wrestling. He believed in staying in gimmick in many lights. And I wish that was still a thing. You know, I really do wish there was some sort of like nostalgic era, like renaissance in wrestling. But, you know, obviously that's a whole nother conversation. But Terry Bollea, never was a fan. Never really thought much of him. Not surprising, the comments. You know, he made a lot of money in his life. He did a lot of things with it. He said a lot of things with his opinions. It just sucks that, like, I feel like a lot of wrestlers, like for you guys and me, we all can sit here and say, like, we like wrestling. We're proud to say we enjoy wrestling. But then you have instances like this where someone who's so well known, right, for so many positives, has also so many dark, you know, secrets in his closet that come to light. And it also kind of brings people back to that saying, oh, wrestler, you know, like it's a wrestler. And it just sucks because, you know, like we should be, if we're in a perfect world, we should be remembering all the good he did, right? But he was a piece of garbage, you know, and that's what everyone's talking about more than him and Rock at WrestleMania. You know, like that was an amazing match, or, you know, all the matches he had with Macho, with Flair, even before the WWF, you know, in the NWA and stuff like that. And, you know, what it did for so many people of that, you know, age group and stuff, how it meant to them. The NWO, I mean, will always be synonymous with a lot of people because, you know, so many people are still trying to do knockoff gimmicks of it. So it's like there's so many good traits with Hulk Hogan, but then everyone is always going to fall back on all the bad traits of Terry Bollea. It's I'm just glad that I guess the response from the companies have been like, all right, we're going to show respect. We're going to take the high ground and just move forward. And because, I mean, honestly, the people are letting everybody know, you know, like how he's literally going over even in heaven or hell, wherever he's at. Because the memes are relentless. Honestly, it sucks that someone's dead, and like the best part about it is going to Twitter and reading memes about his death. It's kind of fucked up, but
he just entered the heavenly Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen, or the hellish Royal Rumble. The last OG just posted. He put up a comment here. Wrestling lost their heir Michael Jordan. Fair to say, Louis, is that a good comparison there?
I would say more of their who was the last superstar before Michael Jordan?
Magic.
I would say
they lost
J.
to Dr. J. I would say they lost to Dr. J.
That was the first person I thought of.
Dr. J.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Dr. J.
Yeah, wrestling Michael Jordan right now has to be whoever the top guy is, and you can make a point for Roman Reigns. You can make a point for, you know, John Cena. You can make a point for Seth Rollins. I mean, yeah.
I always said I give the comparison to Jordan because of the
gambling.
No, the huge cock or whatever. No, I get the comparison because it was a brand. It was an image. You know, the one silhouette that everybody knows of Jordan is either the Jordan logo, or if you gave the silhouette of his head, you know, that was the Jordan brand. You knew it was Jordan. But if you saw the two guns up or whatever, you would immediately look and, you know, know the silhouette. That was Hogan. I knew going along with following up with this story was the fact that the first thing that came to mind was social media and podcasting had done so much for us to know so much about people that we now are able to, you know, like Keith was saying that, you know, and Louis was saying like to separate, and even Seth was saying separate Terry Bollea from Hogan. But without those stories, you wouldn't know how much of a person and, you know, his thoughts were, because in wrestling for years, there's always been stories of, you know, racism and people, from everything from, you know, Ric Flair calling, you know, in the locker room, telling Teddy Long, you know, calling people monkeys, black people monkeys and such like that. For years, promoters and other wrestlers didn't want to share locker rooms with blacks and such. You know, Bobo Brazil told his stories. The only company that really began to push blacks, and it was Mid-South, and you know, Junkyard Dog became their face and such like that. But for years, you didn't know your favorite wrestler coming up was a real fucking racist asshole. There's even promos of Greg the Hammer Valentine. I know, Louis, you've seen it where he's
I heard that, yeah.
you know, and shit. My favorite heel of all time, Roddy Piper. We've seen his promos. I mean, come on. I mean, it's yikes. But with Hogan, it was just like that whole. You really believe in that Superman really is part of the you know, the Legion of Doom and not part of the fucking Justice League. He's a fucking piece of shit. Like the things that he's done. But looking at his accomplishments, I'll go with Seth first. Before you got out of watching wrestling and such, what was like the key moments of Hogan's career that you remember when he was going when you was watching?
Well, let me say this to Keith first, because I appreciate his take too. Like, yeah, at least like conceded a lot of points that I just tried to make. Like, you know what I mean? Keith, you made
it cooler with
really,
the glasses, though.
Yeah, thanks, bro. You know what I mean? Well, Hogan, Roddy Piper rivalry, Macho Man. I didn't really like the Macho that combination. I wasn't a fan of that back in the day. I was real young. But Macho Man to me should have been always separate from Hulk Hogan. He should have always been a rival. I don't think they should have ever teamed up. You know, and even Macho Man as Macho Man, Randy Savage, like the person, not the character, hated Hulk Hogan. Hated Hulk Hogan. And there's a bunch of wrestlers that just didn't like Hulk Hogan, and for multiple reasons. And you know, you guys are more wrestling aficionados than I am, but I know, you know, enough to like, you know this guy was not a good person. You know, he went against.
Sorry, go ahead, finish up.
No, okay. He went against the unionization to get them health care and stuff like that. That was more bigger to me than this whole racial thing. That was more bigger to me because you sold other wrestlers out because you knew you was up here in the organization and you're trying to get up here. You know what I mean? Like that was just fucked up. It was wrong. That like I'll be like, yo, I would never fuck with a dude like that again. Never. So that's a character thing. Then, like I said, bro, you said what you meant. You know what I mean? In the private context of your home, I get it. It shouldn't have been violated. But you said what you meant. You were in your 60s plus. You had many years to be, you know, to be like, okay, I'm over my racism. No, you're old. You're old enough. I'm sorry. And,
yeah, that was exactly but that was exactly what I was going to allude to. What you were going to mention was the whole, you know, not only just the racism and those stuff like that, but the dastardly things he did behind the scenes in the locker room.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing. Yeah, that was a huge thing with Jesse Ventura wanting to unionize a guy, and he went and, as they say in the business, he stooged to the to the big man about it. And
could I say one more thing, Santi?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
My issue with the race thing part is that people are willing to. There's certain things that we're not willing to go. Even the president right now is going through it on his base, where it's like, okay, pedophilia, that's where we draw the line. In 2025, we should be like, all right, racism is where we draw the line, or earlier than that. It's like, okay, bro, like you just a piece of shit. If certain things are cool and you want to judge people on the
oh shit, Trump got him. Trump got him. Trump got him. This is definitely an education that educated to a person who only knew him as a wrestler like me. Yeah, and that's what I said. I wanted to air out the whole, you know, negative aspects to him first. Before anything, because everybody, you know, seems, you know, they'll give him a high regards and everything, but you know, let's get it out in the air, get it off your chest, and you know, let's be real with what the fuck it really was out there. And yeah, like I said, the going behind the back and the diminishing the possibility of unionizing wrestlers, taking a lot of purses out of wrestlers' pockets because he had to go over, he had to be the face of the company, being manipulative, trying to sway storylines and bookings to his way, because of the need that to enforce that he was really the face of what was going on, not being able to take losses privately. We saw what happened in WrestleMania 6 with Ultimate Warrior, where he fucking barely kicked out because he couldn't let Warrior go over strong. I was right about that one, brother. We saw how that paved out later on. But still, it was all manipulative ways to finagle himself in the front line, and he was still able to get a pass by everybody. Welcome back, Seth. We saw that.
I apologize, man. I'm sorry.
We saw that the big orange in charge really was trying to cut you off.
I apologize. Yeah.
But but like I said, this is like I was saying, like this is more of a thought of what was more going behind the scenes as such, the kind of person he was. Especially later on when you're hearing shoot interviews, people who have cut ties with him, people who are still doing business with him, and how they cut ties with those individuals, because it's just been a long-standing, I guess, venomous relationship with Hogan and such. But down the line, we saw it, Louis, with Netflix, with the fucking
He got booed out of the building.
Yeah, like. Was that shocking to you when that happened?
It's funny because when it happened so long ago. I was trying to figure out why that was happening, and then I realized, oh shit, that's right. He did what he did, and then I jokingly said out loud, well, all he was trying to do was promote his beer. Like, all he just wants people to drink with him. That's it. Motherfuckers don't want to drink with him. Like, that's crazy. But no, yeah, him like getting booed out of the building, going back on it. No, I'm not surprised at it at all. But what's funny is that he gets booed out of the building. Nobody likes him anymore. Pick up your ball and go home. To me, the tribute, like Keith said, the tribute was well done. It was beautiful. And people standing and people in the crowd, I expected people to act a fool, kind of. You have those few bad apples in a bunch, or whatever you want to call them, in a situation where they want to disrupt the tribute. Me, I was actually trying to find, and I don't know if you guys did the same thing. I was looking at the wrestlers that were standing behind Triple H, trying to find out just how many of his counterpeers there were. And I only found two. And I don't know if they were forced to be there, but they were there. There was only two.
Like they were dragged on the stage?
Yeah, Street Profits were the only two that were there. The Street Profits were the only two that were there. And I caught that, and I'm like, I don't see Bianca. Mark Henry had a funny meme. I'll do that later, but he had a funny meme. He was DJing.
That's interesting you said that.
Yeah, it was DJing at a club. He played Hulk Hogan's music, and everybody was booing him. And then all of a sudden, he gets on the mic. He goes, in the words of the immortal Iron Sheik, "Fuck me, Hulk Hogan." So it's like, come on, like sometimes you tribute him when he's gone, but you don't tribute him when he's there. It's like some people are keeping that same energy, and most people are not. And to me, there's an imbalance.
Especially the fact for the guy who's wearing a Macho Man shirt during a fucking Hulk Hogan tribute show. Keith, were you shocked? Because a lot of people were saying that they thought that the whole SmackDown was going to be dedicated to him. Were you shocked that they only gave him like that small segment and that was it?
My man died, and the best part about him dying is the way they remembered him and Uncle Howdy in full costume.
That's a fucking Mike just put on there.
You couldn't have it no way, brother. You know?
Yo, Steph, you gotta see it. I'm gonna send you a picture. There's a
Genuinely,
wrestler. It goes under a full gimmick,
I
and
would
he
love.
got on
I
his
gotta
whole
see
shit
this.
on.
I
It's
gotta see
fucking
it.
hilarious.
guy died, and there's like
Immediately, Keith sends that shit to me during fucking.
I'm watching, and I'm like, this fucking guy got the mask and the hat on, and they're saying "rest in peace." Like, okay, this is what we're doing right now. I gotta give him credit. He really went out there in that shit.
There's a kind of bit of a like morbid humor with it too, seeing as though that his brother passed away last year, and like he's now in full gear for somebody.
It would have been so funny if he would have had a firefly next to him. Like it just would have been so synonymous with everything. It would have been. You had Ciampa without a shirt. He was just ready to get ready to wrestle. He was like, "When is this over? All right, okay, ding, 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 10 times. Okay, cool." Gotta love QB1, showing out for the company in front of everyone next to Triple H. I expect nothing less from Cody because Cody's Cody. I love him. Again, I gotta give the fans credit. I was a bit with Louis. I thought there would be a little bit of some foolery, shenanigans and stuff, and hooligans, but they were very respectful. There was a lot of signs. It's kind of like I think there needs to be like once wrestling kind of gets to a point where we can like truly like sit down and remember the guys we actually loved and then the guys who they also passed and stuff. You can really kind of separate like person and character. I still think that's like really like currently going on, and it's like I want to be like, Hulk was awesome, like in many ways, but Hulk was, I can't, because I do feel like there's just too much. Like Hulk was, I mean, his contract, if you just look at his contract, right? Like, what a selfish piece of shit, honestly. Like, just to manipulate so many title change, like Sting and him, that story and who was going over, the way it was, drawn out and the Starcade stuff. And it just, so many guys probably were buried because they couldn't even get a chance with that guy around, and yeah, he was larger than life in a certain time frame. But it also is like, I hate to say it about someone who's not here no more, but he really did wear out his welcome at times. And it was like, there was just a point where it was like, I would have appreciated, right, if he would have stood more close to the company like some other wrestlers do. And just stay close to the company rather than to still think you're on top of the world, bigger than the world, and this larger than life individual. And it just felt like he kind of thought he could get away with certain things. And it bothered me a lot, and I was just like so sick of it, man. I have a friend, and I'll be quick here. He's a very casual wrestling fan. And I have to take his statements and I have to like rewind them twice in my mind because he's not like us. Like we kind of know when someone is selling. We know when the referee's telling them to wrap it up. We see that, we have that third eye. He doesn't see that clearly, but it's not his fault. He doesn't need to. So like, I feel like the beauty of wrestling is still in his eyes. He doesn't know what we see where we're like kind of doing all right, we're seeing through it. But point is that he lives through the old school guys quite a bit. And I'll never forget when he was watching Netflix, he's texting me and he's like, why are they booing Hulk? And I'm like, well, they're booing Terry. They're not booing Hulk because Terry is using Hulk, to influence Terry. It's not really Hulkamania the way we used to love Hulkamania. Yeah, he's promoting his beer, like we said, but who wants to have a beer with Hulk? You want to have a beer with Hulkamania or you want to have a beer with Terry? And that's how it always came across. And I look, there's so many great wrestlers that do love him, and there's so many great wrestlers that have been openly and saying fuck you. And Seth Rollins, my favorite wrestler, has been very clear on that, and I love that. But then there's guys like Bully Ray, who I love Bully Ray too. Bully Ray loves him for everything he did for him in TNA. Whatever. Point is that if I'm not truly attached to that individual, I have to kind of like also be impartial to it. As much as I didn't like the dude. There's no WrestleMania without Hulkamania. WrestleMania wasn't gonna ever stand on its legs without Hulkamania. And you know, his run is always going to be up there. It's always going to be up there. He'll be on the Mount Rushmore of icons. He probably won't be on the Mount Rushmore of best wrestler. He shouldn't be nowhere near it. But you know, there's an era that's dead right now, wrestling, and a lot of people's childhoods are dead with it. And you just got to take it for what it is. I genuinely took it like a bullet when Macho Man passed, because number one, Macho Man looked like more like me, looked more like my dad, right? So I was watching him. He wasn't my first favorite wrestler, but I loved his artistry to wrestling. I loved the person he was. You know, I fell in love with him because of Miss Elizabeth. You know, there were so many things that attached me to him in the beginning. But I took, like, the day, God forbid, I don't even want to utter the words that Bret Hart is no longer here. I'll cry. He was my first favorite wrestler. He's the reason I love wrestling. He was my Hulkamania, you know? That would break me. But Hulk is like Steve Jobs is dead, and yeah, I still use Apple. Whatever.
Mike puts with SummerSlam around the corner, they can't stop the show. The show love for a legend where the other legends have died, and the shit keeps going. Yeah, for me, it was just like, if it was Vince running it, Vince would have dedicated the whole fucking show.
Well, can I jump in real quick? Let me ask you a question. You.
Yeah.
Which one would you take worse, whether it's 1% or 2%? Hulk Hogan dying or Vince dying?
More?
Yeah, which one would affect you more? You sit down and think about it longer.
Vince, yeah, because
Vince, right? Like, I thought about that.
Yeah, Vince going.
Vince was my dog. I'm sorry, I go to hell with that, but
Vince was the brain.
Vince was my dog, bro. I love Vince.
Yeah, right, Steph. What is it? Vince is a brand?
No, Vince was the brain.
Oh, he's the brain.
One, yeah, he's the one. He's responsible for Hulk Hogan, everything, all these icons that we grew up loving and, you know, growing up with. You know, if Vince died, and I know he was a flawed person, we all know that. He wasn't perfect, but, you know, he wasn't, you know, an outwardly, you know, bigot or racist or pedophile or anything that was so objectionable that we like, damn, like we can't, you know.
Pedophile can be a little.
He's a very horny man. He's very horny.
He's a very horny man.
Listen, I feel like this, but I'll take the L's. Every Friday night, I miss him. Like
I wonder if I wonder if he's in that Epstein file. Maybe is Vince on.
That's what I'm saying. We're drawing lines, you know.
It would piss me off if he's not in it. Let's be honest.
you got a
gimmick here, right? Like, how would Vince not make that list? Come on, bro.
You know, it would be Vince, like I said, because, like, you know, I do more, I guess, Vince-isms than I would do more Hogan-isms. You know, after I take a good shit, I do the Vince strut. No chance in hell. You know, yo, what up, my nigga? Like, you get more Vince-isms more than anything else. But you think about it, and before I go into more of it, I go into the more of accomplishments and stuff. We were talking about the separation. I want to shout out to my boy Zach Bruno. Shout out to my boy Zach, referee Zach. I hope you're still doing your thing, doing your comedy such. He posted on Facebook earlier, and he says, Hulk Hogan is a fictional character. He was a personification of never give up and God triumphing over evil, or good triumphing over good and evil long before John Cena. Terry Boller was a guy that played him. Pro wrestling is weird and borders on self-actualization, but Terry Boller isn't Hulk Hogan. He was Terry Boller. I mourn the loss of Hulk Hogan as a larger-than-life character and the simple, and I am pretty empathetic for what the stranger named Terry was. So you pretty much, you know, Hogan was what the symbol of say your prayers, eat your vitamins, drink your milk, and all that shit was, you know. But, you know, like Keith mentioned, at the same time, you know, Terry was using Hogan to put himself over once again with his beer, with his new amateur wrestling promotions, and not knowing what demons and whatever he left behind and what was still possibly going to come up later on down the line and such. So we look more to the fact that what we're going to be talking about more is the accomplishments and what occurred with Hogan. Louis, how many times did Hogan win the Royal Rumble?
Twice.
What years?
89 and 90.
No, wrong.
I'm sorry, 1991.
There you go. Ping, 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 ping. Favorite
I
Royal
did not
Rumble.
know that.
Favorite Royal Rumble moment for you with Hogan.
Favorite Royal Rumble moment with Hulk Hogan. It has to be the one that I previously mentioned I got wrong. 89. It wasn't the fact that he won both of his Rumbles. It was the storyline that started him and Savage at 89. Entered the Rumble at 18. Macho was already there. And the build-up with the Twin Towers. Macho was eliminated by Hogan. And Savage came into the ring. They got in each other's faces. Elizabeth separated them. And that was the beginning of what we got to see with him and Macho. So as far as the Royal Rumble moment, it wasn't for me the 2 wins that he got. It was that the start of the feud, the start of the storyline with Macho.
Auntie,
Yes.
could I ask one question?
Sure.
Yeah. If there was one wrestler from Attitude Era to now that you would like compared to Hulk Hogan, who would it be?
Compared to Hogan,
stylistically, so and they could be a heel. It doesn't matter.
Right.
There's one person that comes to my mind as far as like
compared to Hogan, talent wise.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you, and you're gonna disagree with me, and it's okay. I'm here for the heat.
Let me see, guys.
But I want to hear.
No, me. I have like for me, it's more about branding style. Hogan was just
So the person I'm gonna say, he's a heel.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as athletic.
John Cena.
No.
Okay.
Because you broke Louis Hardy said that.
He was never athletic. He's probably more athletic than the Hulk because Hulk was never athletic like that. But I would say Triple H.
Interesting.
I would say Triple H.
Interesting.
And the reason why, and it's not no hate against him, is because Triple H was never athletic. Never. Maybe when in his younger days.
Well, a lot of those big motherfuckers ain't athletic, yeah.
But he's like, a punch kick kind of guy, and then he got the illest finisher move. But Hulk Hogan, leg drop, simple, basic stuff. Big, herky, you know what I mean? Dominant, looks physically imposing, but not really athletic at all.
5 moves of doom. That's what a lot of people would say. But also, you think about with Hogan also he did heelish shit too. He did the rake in the back. He'll poke somebody's eyes.
I know. I'm right. I'm not saying he's not gonna do that.
Who you got, Louis?
Like, just
with all respect, as soon as he said Triple H, I happened to look up at my screen, and me and Keith kind of did the same thing. We kind of just
I know y'all disagree.
That's why I said interesting. I said interesting.
No, I know.
Based
off pure athleticism.
We had the same expression for about a good 15 seconds.
And it's funny because with athleticism, when you look at, and if you've never seen it, Hogan in Japan was a totally different wrestler than he was in WWF at the time. Like, Vince made him that kind of person that he was. In Japan, those promoters made him fucking work. He was doing drop toe holds and shit like that. They made him fucking work. But that's an interesting comparison. I mean, Triple H, yeah.
I nobody can tell me or convince me that Triple H was ever like. Honestly, most of his career was actually athletic. He never was.
Okay,
he built his thing off of his persona. And his character, and he has some good moves, I guess. The running, running knee, fucking whatever. I don't know. I don't know the terms, right? I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
But the pedigree he's got. You know what I mean? It's just like really basic shit. Same thing with Hulk Hogan, and it's not to take away from them. I'm not trying to shit on them or anything, but they're They were never athletic like that. It's kind of like really like, okay, but you make it good. You make it look good. You make it
as ring wrestling. I always have to look at the older guys for that, because now when the years later they make the bigger guys now work a little bit more. So I cannot compare anyone. I probably would say like Braun Strowman or some shit like that.
I don't want to insult you wrestling people. I'm sorry. I don't get everything right.
There's a lot of Triple H fans that just went, what?
I mean, I'm a Triple H fan. Believe me. Like when he came back from his quad thing, I was one of them like, yeah, he's back. But he was one of the best heels we ever had. He's probably the best in my opinion.
If Jason was watching, Jason would be like, "Oh, we talking about my father like that." The Triple H.
But he was not athletic.
Since you mentioned Triple H and his championships, let me ask you, Seth, how many times do you think Hulk Hogan won the WWE championship?
I would say 5 times.
Ooh, good guess. 6.
Okay.
6 times.
All right.
Keith, how many times did Hogan win the WWE Tag Team Championship?
Ooh. I'd say it has to be no more than 2.
Okay. So you're going to say 2?
Oh, so then, 2 or 1 has to be, because I don't think he had so many long reigns with the heavyweight title. That's
right.
The thing. I don't remember him being multiple champions. So it's got to be either 2 or 1.
So I have it here at 1 with Edge, but didn't he win? Didn't he? I thought he won with Shawn.
You got me. I don't even remember that.
I thought he won with Shawn, and that's when Shawn did the heel turn.
I don't recall.
I
vaguely remember him with Edge.
He won the tag team titles with John Cena and kicked John Cena, and they relinquished and they lost the tag team.
Oh, okay, because I thought that was what led to the feud with Hogan as well. Okay. How many times did he win the Louis? How many times did he win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship?
I want to say he did it 4 times.
6 times. 6 times. Seth, better Hogan for you, Hollywood or the red and yellow Hogan?
I would say NWO Hogan. I like that because you know what it did for that whole franchise. I'm not gonna lie. I grew up on the original Hogan. I'm not gonna, I'm more likely to be favoring that, but that was a different era, man. They were competing with the Attitude Era in the WWF, NWO. I mean, I'm sorry, I like that one.
Yeah, big change when the NWO thing happened. The whole shift in what was to become with wrestling happened during that time, during that era. Leg drop on Macho Man. He became the third man. Bobby fucking basically told us ahead of time before it happened. He knew it before it happened. And it was Bobby was excuse me, Bobby was always talking that Hogan was a bad guy before we even said anything about it. Shout out to our boy Ernesto in the chat. What's good, boy? He let it be known early on about it, but there was a big momentum shift when that happened. Louis, I know you was watching at that time. When Hogan went NWO, that was seismic, wasn't it?
It's funny. I actually watched it last night.
With tears in your eyes, brother.
Some things you just have to, you go back. You're like, let me check out some classic stuff. And that was one of the things I checked out. The commentary made it what it was. Hogan, the crowd when he dropped the leg made it what it was, and Hogan's rant afterwards made it more of what it was. It was at the time you didn't know what was real and what was fake because of Hall and Nash. You didn't know what was, so seeing Hogan, another WWF guy, come into the fold and you think it's just a hostile takeover. This was the coolest shit ever. So for me, it was like shocking at first, but then you kind of, you got down with the get down, NWO shirts and I mean, at first it was absolutely cool. It ran its course in about 2 years, but it was absolutely one of the coolest things once you got used to it.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm trying to look for anything that was stuck out to me when it was he was in TNA. Nothing was nothing stuck out for me there. except that they tried to go head to head with WWE, and that was just like ridiculous. But I would ask
a bully banging his daughter.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I would ask Keith, what was your favorite Hulk Hogan movie ever?
Oh, I wish you'd asked me that one.
Oh, you can go around. You can answer that.
I got one.
I got my favorite.
It definitely was the one where he was in the ballerina suit with the little girl.
Mr. Nanny.
That
Mr.
one.
Nanny.
That one. Yeah, that one was kind of funny. There was one where he was like this like cheap superhero kind of thing, like street like what was that shit called?
Suburban Commando.
There you go. I kind of like that one too. They were like really bad like 80s, early 90s movies that you would like just like hope that TNT would just play while you're doing laundry and like mopping the floors and stuff. So I guess, I mean, if you want to do Rocky 3 where it really created like the mainstream hype for him, where, you know, he even got fired from the company for that shit.
Right.
You could talk about that in terms of like impact, but I take the real shitty ones personally because I'm that fucked up in the head that I prefer the awful stuff more than anything.
What's that, Seth?
Oh man, listen, man. I'm gonna tell you something. No holds barred. I'm sorry. He was terrible with it, but I love that movie for some reason. What's that smell? Dookie. Oh man, I'm like, yo, honestly, I love that movie.
How about the transparent half-ass gets love scene that he had it in as well?
Oh God, it was terrible. If you watch it today, you'd be like, "What the hell am I watching? What the fuck am I watching?" But at the time, I loved it. I ain't gonna lie.
What you got, Louis?
It used to come on WB11 all the time.
Hell yeah!
When I was a kid, little backstory. When I was a kid, my dad took the family to the movies, and we're in the theater. We're watching this particular movie. And Gremlins 2. If Hulk Hogan has a cameo, that's the best thing ever because he's not starring in the goddamn movie. Gremlins 2.
I don't even remember that, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I remember that.
When the Gremlins took over the movie and started doing shadow puppets in the background, and the usher goes and the Gremlins fucked up the guy running the movie. All they want to do is watch Snow White. The usher goes to the back. Usher goes to the seat. Hulk Hogan's eating popcorn, watching the movie. So he goes and he runs a promo on the Gremlins. Like, it's the best thing ever. Him not being on the screen.
Yo, I did not remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan's probably wrestling with the devil right now from South Park.
A South Park episode is coming. You know that,
definitely.
Right? It has to happen.
Sure. He gonna throw about a bunch of niggas in that South Park episode. Oh yeah, nigga.
The best part of Suburban Commando was the fact that you had Undertaker was in the movie Suburban Commando. Mm-hmm. And when he spoke, he's like, "No wonder you guys don't speak. We're gonna get you, Ramsey." it was like, what? But yeah, he did Spy Hard, Santa with Muscles. Three Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain. This is when he had the fucking toupee on. He had the hairpiece.
I forgot about that mess.
I thought that Three Ninjas Kick Back, bro. Honestly. The first and the second was good. After that, I don't know these kids.
And it's, his TV shows. He had Thunder in Paradise. He couldn't be.
We're showing our age, Santi. We're showing our age, bro.
Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise. Brew and Spence. That was a good name.
Oh, right? Shit. Yeah, there you go. He was Spencer. Hurricane Spencer. Jesus Christ.
Running around in a boat fighting crime.
In a speedboat. Listen, I don't want to be far from home, brother. Can we film it in Tampa? Oh my God. I'm gonna put the show over, brother. Believe so. But yeah, someone had posted that someone put up there. Your and Keith mentioned it earlier. Icons of the Mount Rushmore. Is Keith? Does he kick off your icons for your Mount Rushmore?
Icons, yeah. Like but I have to be clear. It's not like a list of like my preferred wrestlers or like who I think is the best or anything. But if you're just gonna go icon on the wrestling icon Mount Rushmore, he's absolutely there. Absolutely, him, Ric Flair, The Rock, and Austin. For me, I have to guess. I mean, you could argue Undertaker. I could see the argument for Undertaker. Absolutely. Stone Cold to me and The Rock, I think they levitated the sport in a way that Undertaker did. I feel like Undertaker is more of a, like, if you truly love wrestling, he would probably be it. But like icon, he's probably the best character, Undertaker. But like, who took it? Who made their character a global brand? I mean, Ric Flair. I don't think Ric Flair is ever going to die. I think he's literally an alien. The Rock. I mean, I don't really have to explain that. And I think people. I heard stories of people wearing like Stone Cold Steve Austin shirts to this day, and like countries like Indonesia and South Africa and stuff like that because of Austin 316 will never die. You know, icon. It would be that. I can see the argument for Undertaker. I've heard arguments for Andre, but I think we're a little outdated with respect to Andre. I know Andre was incredible. I think it sucks we didn't get to see most of it, especially in Japan stuff. But yeah, I think it would be those guys for sure.
Is Real American on like the top 5 iconic theme songs of wrestling of all time?
It's so tough. It's so tough
Iconic?
now that he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Iconic.
Yeah.
On the train, I must have played it about 8 times in my brain when I found out what happened. That song hits hard. I think, this is just me, I think that is the greatest theme song that fits the character.
And mind you, it wasn't his first. It wasn't his first.
It wasn't.
It wasn't his song first.
I've been singing I'm a Real American for like 3 days in my head. It's weird.
Me too. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I hate Hulk Hogan.
The song is fire,
but it's been ringing in my ear lately.
Mm-hmm. It's a fire song.
Like it belongs in Rocky 4 with the rest of the musical. Like
yeah.
it's
Seth,
awesome.
Let's be honest here. If you had to go with it, you had to go with Real American or Hollywood's Jimi Hendrix.
No, I have to go with I'm a Real American.
You can
I hate that I say that. I like the music. We're talking about the music and in the
theme.
Two different things.
Yeah.
It wouldn't go together if it switched. I'm
talking about even the NWO music was tough. Like all.
For sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like his music was like. That's one thing I give him.
You want to talk about music? That we could
music for him though. Like all his characters, I felt like he always had it tough. I give him that. He always had it tough.
I don't know. There was something just about him. Whatever song came out, and especially in WCW, he had the title, and he'll just take the belt and use it as a guitar. That was just like always like an iconic look for him. Like it's just, he listen. If there's anyone that really like lived the gimmick, whenever you get that was that first person you've ever seen was Hogan. He was that guy. He even inside and out. I think he even wanted the fact to become Hollywood because he was tired of the Boy Scout look and all that stuff, and then he was finally able to paint the fucking beard on himself and just live that side. He lived. He worked it. He knew what it was to do it. As my boy, shout out to Josie's boy. We always goof on it. The man was just a living legend, looking like a Nathan's hot dog. He always did look like right now he's in the hot dog in the sky or he's grilling downstairs. But he was, my boy. Shout out to my boy Slow. He and my boy Smack. We always had every year. We never know what day it is. We just call it out. Hulk Hogan Dedication Day. We would just walk around flexing, ripping off our shorts and he wasn't even dead. It's just like we just made a dedication day to him. But to close it out for me, I have to say that like I said, he wasn't my introduction to wrestling. It wasn't him, because I said my uncle, and I've seen numerous times, my uncle always put me onto the older classics, like Nick Bockwinkel, Dusty, those guys, Harley. But when it came to mainstream wrestling, although I wasn't a fan, I knew what he was for company and for wrestling. I knew that. So I have to say that as that persona, as that gimmick, as Hulk Hogan, I totally get and understand why he had a fan base and why he was such an icon, as we've been saying, and such a important person to professional wrestling, especially in the mid to late 80s and on and from so forth. But that's my word. I'm gonna do roundabout, starting with Keith. What's your final words about the man himself, Hulk Hogan?
Rest in peace.
Good one. Louis, what you got?
Thank you for the character. Thank you for the character. Thank you for the character.
And to you, boy, Mad Dog Seth, what you got?
Fuck him.
It just went down.
I respect it. I respect it.
And we're gonna close it out on this side, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, make sure flyer is up now. I'm gonna make sure we do most. I just came back from Puerto Rico, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of promotions right now for it. August 2nd, Saturday, SummerSlam Night 1 will be at the Seneca. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys are in the building for SummerSlam Night 1. Games, prizes, and much, much more. Drinks, food, everything you guys will want, you guys are going to enjoy for Night 1. We've done it there before. We had a big turnout for Night 1. I'm going to make sure you guys pull up for Night 1 of SummerSlam. We did it for Night 1 of Mania. Make sure you pull up for Night 1 for SummerSlam. It's going to be big. The build-up for SummerSlam is actually getting big, better and better. I just love the announcement for the motherfucking the tag team match, the ladder match is going to happen. I hope it's on Night 1. We'll be seeing what the rundown is going to be soon, and I hope you guys pull up there. Make sure you check us out on all social media outlets. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram, and as well as on TikTok and others. Make sure you guys link in for our event. Gotta thank, of course, the Tribal Keith himself, kicking it with the Keith stops in from Shea and Sons. Make sure
now it's Tribal Keith 1.
Tribal Keith 1. Oh, what happened?
Because apparently we got to add 1 to everything, you know.
So did somebody take it before?
No, because Roman Reigns is OTC 1 now. I don't know. Motherfuckers
okay.
using no Roman numerals and shit now every few months. Like, I don't know why.
Shout out to our boy Louis Coyote, who's coming in as well. Will we see you on SummerSlam or?
I may be in the building.
Oh, wait, in MetLife or with us?
At MetLife.
Nice.
Oh, someone's making money. Nice to be you.
10 years today.
Yeah, good. Congratulations. There you go. Listen, I would have loved to gone, but those tickets are ridiculous, and I'm not sitting up there. I've been at MetLife up there, and I'm not doing that shit. Fuck it. I'll be all right. I'd rather sit back and fucking get my drinks and my food right there than they're right in front of me. I'm good. Keith, are you still trying to go?
If my plan comes to fruition where I could get Night 1, Night 2 for like under 200, I'll consider it. But
that's
then
nice.
Your advice has been in my head though about like how high you're sitting versus just watching it like on TV is also like, you know, kind of a thing, because I actually do like how we did it for Mania. We were like really tapped in, like really. So I kind of don't want to miss the Seneca event because we had so much fun. You know what I'm saying, at WrestleMania, and now we got the back of the room, which is crazy. So that'll be even more. And Seth, I know you probably worked that weekend, but call out. But
listen, bro, just shoot me the invite. I'll be there. Y'all making me want to tap into the wrestling right now more. So you know, we'll see, bro.
Listen,
especially the live events. You know, I'm there. I know you go to them all the time, Santi.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me know.
Oh, the indie shows? Oh, please. That's another story, bro.
Wait.
There's nothing like a live show. All right?
We're doing House of Glory Friday?
Damn fucking right.
Hey, man.
So, guys, once again, thank you guys for checking in and being a part of our tribute to Hogan, if that's what we're going to call it. But for all you guys who are checking in and watch us as well on the live stream, thanks again for checking in, and your comments is such much appreciated. And as always, as I tell you guys, check you guys in a sec. In a sec.
2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Sit, turn type, sit. Good boy. Ruff.